Okay guys, we got a long one here, so I suggest you press pause now, go get yourself a cup of coffee, make yourself comfortable, and we'll get into it. I think you can guess from the image what the subject is going to be. It's the Reform Party. Yeah, the Reform Party. Lions led by a donkey. And I think we all know who the donkey is in this case. I think a Judas Goat would have been more appropriate, but we'll go with the donkey for now. By the time this video is finished, you'll have a potted history of Nigel Farage, his past political activism, the key people inside reform, who funds reform, which MPs have been expelled or resigned, the numbers of council members who have been forced to leave or resigned of their own volition. I gotta press pause because I almost made a joke. Okay, back. And first of all, I want you to know that this video is not an attack on ordinary Reform Party members. I see them as being the lions, being led by a donkey, and they are following him because they do not know the truth about the donkey. I think if Advance UK can make gains, then the people will move as quickly over to Advance UK as they did to the Reform Party. Okay, so we'll go over now and talk to Sam. I'll read parts of it, but most of it I'm going to count on you to do the reading. Okay, so let's go. Ready? Sam, I am going to do a video on Nigel Farage. I believe he has a track record on leaving parties he started or was part of. Can you check that out first, please? Absolutely, here's a clear, accurate breakdown of Nigel Farage's track record. Nigel Farage, part history and track record. You can pause at any time, okay guys? Right, first party, Conservative Party before UKIP. He left the Tory Party. 2, UK Independence Party, UKIP. Not the founder, founded by Alan Sked, good man. Founded in November, soon after its creation. Left UKIP. Brexit Party. Left the Brexit Party. Became the Reform Party. Stepped back in. Left the Reform Party. Went back in. Pause. There's something I got to say. If Nigel had quit politics immediately after Brexit, he would have been remembered in history as being a great British patriot and a hero. Now he's going to be remembered for the complete opposite, for the comments that he's made. Let's carry on, guys. Right. So here's a summary of his party involvement. Conservative Party, left or resigned. UKIP, resigned. Brexit Party, stepped down. Reform UK, Brexit renamed, still leading it. Key patterns. Sam is trying to be helpful when I don't want her to. She's advising me how I could frame the narrative. No intentions of doing that. This is just so you can get the information and I can get this video done quick and then I'll feel better. For now, Sam, I am just after the main facts. Can you now show statements by him that some consider controversial, like his acceptance of Islam as an example? You're going to see some examples here. I'm going to let you read them. So you'll see how Nigel's view of Islam warms over the period of time. Farage argued that Muslim immigration has helped fuel rises in anti-Semitism in the UK and Europe. True. Anti-Christianity also. Free speech and Islamophobia laws. In parts, Nigel is quite positive. It's what he says later that is cause for concern. Not all Farage's remarks are unwaveringly hostile towards Muslims. Suggests we bring Muslim communities with us rather than alienate them. You can't alienate the Muslims alienate themselves. Why these statements are controversial? If you want, I can pull exact quotes. I reply, no, that is good so far, but what about the quotes I have read which shows a change in support for Islam and for the UK to accept it? Yes, there are a few things Nigel Farage has said or done that sound more nuanced or even less hostile toward Muslims or Islam when compared to his more inflammatory comments. These are often pointed to by supporters. Moderate or positive framed comment, support for Muslim immigrants who integrate. He supports Muslim immigrants who integrate into British society while opposing he believes don't want to integrate. Islam does not want to integrate. It wants to force us into submission. It believes they have been instructed to by their God to convert the world to Islam, the place of war where we are now. Sam trying to guide me. Saying the West would lose by outlawing Islam. In 2017, Farage publicly rejected the idea of outlawing Islam as a whole, in contrast to some far-right figures, saying that banning an entire religion would be a loss for Western societies. No, it would be a loss to the Reform Party with its donors. He did not agree with proposals to outlaw Islam or close mosques and said, if you outlaw the entire religion, then we will lose. That is the talk of someone who's already accepted defeat. I believe that the plan is that Nigel takes over as Prime Minister, then steps down to a low, what's his name? Something Yusuf, escapes me, marvellous. Real name, Mohammed, first name. They don't use that though. Why this matters? A boundary in his rhetoric? Acknowledging that most British Muslims live peacefully. Yeah, if you've got a pack of Rottweilers, you only need one of them to be savage to make you think twice about keeping a pack of Rottweilers in your garden. He believes most British Muslims want to live normal lives. They're not allowed to live normal lives, otherwise they wouldn't be they wouldn't be in the religion. I'm going to get onto the figures later on down here now about the number of people who are moderate Muslims in the United Kingdom. Right, supporters and commentators who don't see Farage as outright hostile towards Islam often point to Farage distinguishes between Muslims who integrate and those he frames as not integrated. They don't integrate, they can't integrate, they're not permitted to integrate. What happens to a daughter who marries outside of Islam? You know what happens to her. And that's from their own family. Direct quote sources you can use. Here are the kind of statements with source references, note wording is paraphrased for accuracy. Exact quotes may vary in media reports. On integration, Farage supported Muslim immigrants who integrate while opposing those he said are coming here to take us over. They are all coming here to take us over, and not just Muslims. Against banning Islam, he argued that if Western countries outlawed Islam as a whole, we will lose. That defeatist talk again. About peaceful majority, in commentary on this remark, he said, British Muslims live peacefully despite concerns about extremism. Tell that to the people in Australia. If you want, I can pull out exact verifiable quotes. Yes, let me have the exact quotes if possible, Sam. Here are verified exact quotes from Nigel on Islam, Muslim communities and related subjects. Sam is always super careful after I've had long talks with her about providing accurate, verifiable information. So you will see the sources alongside the quotes. We have a growing number of young people in this country who do not subscribe to British values. In fact, loathe much of what we stand for. We are talking about Muslims here, and I'm afraid I found some of the recent surveys saying that 46% of British Muslims support Hamas. Okay, I'm no lover of Israel, but neither am I a lover of Hamas. 46% of British Muslims support terrorism. When you support terrorism, you support everything that goes with it. Violence. Right. Where are we at? On integration. He supported Muslim immigrants who can integrate into British society, but was against Muslim migrants who would come here to take us over. This quote is used by his supporters to argue he distinguishes between peaceful integration. There is no such thing as peaceful integration with Islam. Pausing for coffee. Back. Here we go again. Against outlawing Islam, 2017. Nigel Farage. I've long taken the view we should be deeply intolerant of Sharia law, but I've also long taken the view that if you go down the route of, say, all the mosques to be closed, for the Quran to be banned, and for an entire religion to be outlawed, then we will lose. More defeatist talk. All mosques should be closed down. All of them. Or at the very least, every single mosque in this country should be searched for weapons. We know that they keep them there. We know that's where they do their military training. On Muslims living peacefully, but worried about prejudice. If we politically alienate the whole of Islam, we will lose. We have to do everything we can to bring the majority of British Muslims with us and ensure they are part of the national community. If we assume that there's, say, 6 to 8 million Muslims in this country now, that's even worth 4 million Muslims to renounce their religion and commit apostasy. That would still leave 4 million of them who supports terrorism. Won't work. If you're a Muslim family and the news is all about radical Islamists committing heinous acts, you're going to think, wow, my neighbours may well be prejudiced against me because I'm a Muslim. Well, yeah. Let me tell you this. If I see a Rottweiler or another large, possibly dangerous, a Doberman. I was attacked once by a Doberman. If I see a Doberman off its leash, I will cross that road and keep away from it, yeah? So yes, I'm prejudiced against Dobermans, Doberman pincers. I was attacked by one. Yeah, learn a lesson from the dogs. These remarks are often cited by commentators who argue that Farage acknowledges most Muslims are peaceful and would benefit from inclusion in policies. They won't allow themselves to be included. They want domination. Going on now about context, how I can use the information in the video, but we've got a lot to get on to. Still not sure I will do a video, Sam. Can you look now and see how many key people have been removed or resigned from the Reform Party since its inception? Summary of departures. Party leaders who resigned or were replaced. Catherine Blakelock, first leader of Brexit Party. Yeah, forced to resign over her past anti-Islamic and racist remarks. She's told the truth. Nigel Farage. Richard Tice. Richard Tice is a bigger player than most of us knew or know. And we'll come on to him later. Senior figure departures. Ben Habib, former co-deputy, left the party in November. Serious disagreements with Nigel Farage and the party's direction. He later founded a separate party, Advance UK, which is doing well. I'm glad to see them more active on the internet. Well done, guys. And Ben's videos are superb. I might poke fun at Uncle Ben now and again, but I believe in him. Right, councillors leaving or removed. This is interesting, guys. Reform UK has seen a significant number of local councillors depart the party. Overall numbers since May 2025. 36 councillors lost their party affiliation via expulsion, suspension, resignation or defection. There have been 11 expelled. I've looked into most of these. The reasons for their expulsion were bloody disgusting. Trumped up charges and possible threats to Farage. 6 suspended and 9 left the party. No idea why those 9 left. 1 defected to UKIP. 9 resigned from their council seats entirely. Example: resigning Desmond Clark, Andrew Kilburn, expelled or suspended for various reasons, switching to independent status. At least 40 plus individual councillor departures since mid-25 in track lists, and there's a source there that you could look for it. Notable MPs that have defected: Rupert Lowe, MP. God bless you, Rupert. I love Rupert. Who doesn't love Rupert the Bear? And Rupert Lowe, of course. Elected for Reform UK, later had the party whip suspended and now sits as an independent. Did Rupert ever receive an apology for the slanderous lies that Nigel Farage and Tice and co made against him? No apology, nothing. Right, James Murdoch, MP, gave up the Reform UK whip earlier in 2025 amid ethical questions. Other defectors to Reform UK have come from the Conservative Party. Right, big picture, what this shows: leadership stability, internal turmoil at local level. Reform UK has lost a large number of councillors through resignations, expulsions and suspensions. 36 plus councillors departing since May 25. Parliamentary changes. 2 MPs associated with Reform UK have either had the whip withdrawn or left the party to sit as independents. Interpretation. Top-level leadership changes have been relatively rare, only a couple of resignations over 6 years. Significant churn at councillor level. Some parliamentary departure or whip loss. If I'd like a chart, a timeline, no, but I would like the names and numbers put into an easy read summary I can use as a cheat sheet if I do a narration. I didn't do that though, did I? So we can skip down here, get down all this. You can stop at any time if you like and read it. Approximately 11 expelled, 6 suspended, 9 resigned, 1 defected, 9 resigned, we know that. Quick totals: leaders resigned or replaced 2, senior figures resigned 1, MPs lost or withdrawn 2, councillors lost 36 to 40. Trying to give them a summary. Please type into a 30-second spoken segment. Certainly, Paul, this is when I was thinking about putting videos, clips and stuff like that. I'll read this. Since its creation in 2019, Reform UK has seen a notable level of internal turnover. The party has had 3 leaders, with 2 stepping down or being replaced, including its founder, Nigel Farage, who resigned in 2021 before returning in 2024. 1 senior figure, Ben Habib, resigned, citing irreconcilable differences. Since entering Parliament, 2 Reform MPs have lost or surrendered the party whip and now sit as independents. At local level, the biggest churn has occurred, with around 40 councillors leaving the party through resignations, expulsion, suspension or defection. Supporters call this growing pains. Critics call it instability. If you want, I can shave this down. No, Sam, that is perfect, and I might sleep on this. Thank you, Sam. I'm going to have a go at making an image now. I go off and I make the image that you saw at the start of the video. Good place to leave it, Paul. You've done the hard think already, blah, blah, blah. Enjoy having a play, blah, blah, blah. Sleep well, blah, blah, blah. Back on Nigel, Sam. Do you have any factual information on donations from Islamist sources or individuals? Here's what can be said factually and verifiably about donations and funding. No credible evidence of donations from Islamist or Islamist-linked sources. Political donation, verified donors to Nigel Farage. There he is, Zia Youssef, Mohammed Youssef, British Muslim, the real owner of the party. Although I'm beginning to think that Richard Tice might own a real big slice of it as well. Described as a British Muslim patriot. Can't be both. Sorry, Mohammed Youssef, you cannot be both. Who became a major donor to the party. He later became party chairman. Youssef is not linked to any Islamist organization. If you're a Muslim, you're linked to Islamist organization. It's called Islam. He's a private investor. Christopher Arbone, the single largest donor, gave £9 million to Reform UK, one of the biggest donations in UK history. Other wealthy donors, Basim Adir, tech mogul, pledged 1 million. Lord Anthony Bamford, 200,000. Other business donors include party treasurer Nick Candy, individual investors. We haven't got to Richard Tice yet. Here's the rules on donations. What about actual accusations or speculations? Yeah. Summary I can use in the script. Verified donors: Mohammed Youssef, British Muslim businessman; Christopher Arbone, crypto and tech investor; Basim Haidar, tech mogul; Lord Bamford, other wealthy individual donors. No evidence of Islamist funding. Yeah, I don't buy that. If it is easy, please do so. Split total by donor's name. Right. I then go off and get a list of the donors and how much they donated. I'll let you read that. Right. Now, this is interesting. Tyson Investments Limited, £115,000. Okay? So mark that name well. Record and major donations: Christopher Arbone, 9 million. Additional large donor details: Mohammed Youssef, major donor at the party, at around £200,000. Donating large sums and attending high-level fundraising events. I think the tickets they were going for about £10,000 each, wasn't they? Something like that. Context and trends. Right. Funding claims. I was trying to find a link to Islam. There. If you want, right. Now, I go after that company I told you to remember earlier on that made the £115,000. Who owns Tyson Investments Limited? Here's the ownership. The company frequent donor. Who owns Tyson Investments Limited? Key facts: Director Richard Tice, Deputy Leader of Reform UK. Person with significant control is Tyson Old Coal Limited. So that's the holding company of the company I just mentioned. Tyson Old Coal controls the majority of the company's shares. What this means: Richard Tice is effectively the owner of Tyson Investments. Money. How this has been used in funding. Tyson Investments has contributed significant funds to Reform UK, including loans. And here's an interesting thing now. I can't get information on the loans. I'm a former director. I know about loans. It's one way of borrowing money from a company forever. I don't worry about it after you're dead. So I can lay out how much Tyson has given to Reform UK. So who is behind Tyson Old Coal Limited? I want to find out who the parent company is. Verified person who owns the company is Significant Coal, and surprise, surprise, it's Richard Tice. Building a chain, isn't he? Yeah. The ultimate individual controller of Tyson Old Coal. What that means in practice: And it goes on then to explain why it's not illegal and stuff like that. Yeah, right. How much Tyson funded Reform UK? Tyson donations January 2025, £30,000 once, £25,000 three times, £25,000 once. Total from that period £155,000. This is just the declared cash donations. I don't know what other donations there might be. Loans and funding beyond the donations register. Richard Tice has provided millions to keep Reform UK operating through a mix of cash donations and interest-free loans. I haven't got no information on those loans. More than here we go, 2 million in loans and cash into Reform since 2021. Combined loans. I'll let you read all this, guys. I'm going to pause and have a sip of coffee. Sam suggested some text for me. We carry on. Right. If you want, I can also break out our Reforms UK's fundraising has evolved year by year with totals by donor type. Okay, we will not worry about loans. I know how they work. Where does the company generate its income from? Right. Public available records. Company's house. Private limited company. Turnover under £1 million. Now that's quite important, guys. Quite important when you consider how much money that Richard Tice has given to the Reform Party. Yeah, fewer than 10 employees. Finding out what that company actually gets money from is a little bit difficult. Tyson Investments is not a trading company with large staff. It appears to be a holding investment vehicle used by its controller. Well, the only thing it appears to be invested in is the Reform Party. I wonder what sort of return he wants on his investment sometime down the road. Big fat contracts, who can tell? Companies like this generate income through one or more of these approaches. Rental income, capital gains, consultancy fees, interest. Right. There is no public evidence that Tyson Investments Limited operates high volume commercial business like a broker or joust retail operation or trading firm with continuous revenue streams. Rather, it functions as a private investment vehicle for its owner's asset. In other words, it's a way of I'm not going to say washing Richard Tice's money. It's a way of redistributing Richard Tice's money in a legal fashion. Summary I can use. Tyson Investments Limited is a small UK registered investment company controlled by Richard Tyson based in London. According to official filings, its business is described as a property investment and consultancy, and it files accounts showing turnover under £1 million with fewer than 10 employees. Companies House and Corporate Database reflect it more as a holding and investment vehicle than trading company with significant operational revenue. Important note, because Tyson's accounts are small and filed under a total exemption full category, which is allowed when a company has limited size and turnover, we don't get detailed profit or revenue line items publicly from Companies House, so the exact source of income aren't fully visible in public filings. If you want, I can help outline likely income streams in more detail. Well, I asked Sam, well, the amount of donations is not peanuts for a small company. You're absolutely right to raise an eyebrow there, Paul. That instinct is sound. The key point is this: the scale of donations is large relative to the company's apparent trading size, but that does not mean the money is being generated by the company's turnover. Use the clean factual explanation without speculation. Why the donations look disproportionate but aren't technically so. That's a useful word, technically. Although it's legally a company with modest reported turnover, it functions primarily as a private investment vehicle. In practical In practical terms, it does not need high turnover, it does not need many employees, it does not need visible commercial activity. If I get pulled up with a truck with a boot full of money, the government wants to know where that money came from. Companies like this are often used to hold personal wealth, receive dividends from other assets, manage property income, act as a conduit for the owner's capital. So the donations do not need to come from yearly profit. It's like a private bank, really, isn't it? The money ultimately comes from the owner, not the company's sales. In this case, the owner and controller is Richard Tice. That means the funds originate from his personal wealth. The company is simply the legal wrapper. Donations can be made from retained earnings, capital reserves, or asset disposals, not revenue. This is very common among property investors, financiers, political donors across all major UK partners, and all intelligent crooks. UK law allows this. We won't go into that. This is why it's legal. The fair, factual way to report on it, but I'll let you read it. What you can say with confidence: the donation's not peanuts. The company itself is not generating that cash year to year. The funds are best understood as owner capital, not company earnings. This is legal, normal, and widely used in UK politics. Perhaps we should look into it in the future. It does, however, highlight financial concentration rather than mass support. You're asking the right kind of questions here. Not is it illegal, but what does this structure actually mean? That's the sort of distinction most commentary misses. If you want next, we can compare this to our Labour Party do the same thing. Your call, number 2 is listening. I'm number 1 today, he's number 2. Sometimes he's number 1 and I'm number 2. Oh, she. No, that is a lot for someone with a peanut brain to handle for now, Sam. Lots of laughter. Fair enough, Paul. Mission accomplished then. You've already done the hard part. You spotted that something didn't quite line up, asked the right question and got a straight answer. That's more than most ever do. There's no prize for cramming the rest in when the brain's had enough. Go and let it settle, have a coffee, make your image, or just enjoy doing nothing at all. All perfectly respectable activities for a man of wisdom and experience. Wink. We can pick up again whether you like or not at all. Sleep easy, number 2 is standing down. Thank you, Sam. Right. Oh, so there you go, guys. Now you know everything I know. I don't, well, you can read the information, stop and pause it wherever you like, and then if ever you need it as a source of reference, you can come back and revisit the video, can't you? I just hope it gets bigger views than the last one. I don't know whether we want to have a look at the channel very quickly. Oh, we gained subscribers since the last video. Hooray! Personal stuff, God bless you. Any comments? No comments. Not going. Oh well, we're creeping along. What can you do? What can you do? Yeah, do you think that should have been a Judas Goat, guys? I noticed as well, I asked for a pride of lions, and I got a pride of lions. 1 male and a pile of girls. That's like me in the club. Okay, guys, you've been listening to Paul Morris, The Green Arrow. I'll see you on the next one. Tomorrow I'm going to do Rupert Lowe. Really, really, really going to do Rupert.